Yes, what's on your mind?
I'd like to know more about you, Carth.
Me? Well, I've been a star pilot for the Republic for years. Seen more than my share of wars. I fought in the Mandalorian Wars before all this started. But with all that, I've never experienced anything like the slaughter these Sith animals can unleash. Not even the Mandalorians were that senseless. My homeworld was one of the first planets to fall to Malik's fleet. The Sith bombed it into submission, and there wasn't a damn thing our Republic forces could do to stop them.
I'm sorry, Carth. This must be very painful for you.
I'm just a soldier. I go where the fleet admirals tell me to. I follow my orders and I do my duty. It's just... doesn't seem right that doing that means I failed them. I didn't.
Them? Do you mean the people of your home world?
Yeah, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not making much sense, am I? You probably mean well with your questions. I'm just not accustomed to talking about my past very much. At all, actually. I'm more used to taking action, keeping my mind focused on the business at hand. So let's just do that. If you have more questions, ask them later.
Right, you alien scum. Everybody get up against the wall. This is a raid.
There was a patrol here just yesterday and they found nothing. Why do you thieves keep bothering us?
That's how we Sith deal with smart-mouth aliens. Now the rest of you get up against the wall before I lose my temper again. What's this? Humans hiding out with aliens? They're Republic fugitives! Attack!
Sure. Oh, Ixgil, we should never have talked back to that thief. Thankfully, you were here to step in and help us, you man. This isn't the first time the Sith has come in here to cause trouble for us, but hopefully it will be the last. Once someone comes searching for this patrol, I will move them so it looks like they were killed elsewhere. That should throw the Sith off the track. With any luck, they won't be bothering us again for a while.
Uh-huh. On it.
Sure.
It's open.
Who are you? What are you doing in here? You can't just come barging into someone's home.
I'm sorry, I was just investigating the area.
That's no excuse. You can't just go around barging into people's apartments because you're curious. But at least you're more polite than that pig Holdan.
Holdan? Who's that?
Just one of Davik's men who can't keep his hands to himself. But all he got for his trouble was a nasty scar from my vibroblade. Too bad I'm the one still paying the price.
What do you mean?
I don't want to talk about it. I'm in enough trouble already. Besides, I don't know if I can trust you.
Can trust me. Maybe I can help.
No, I don't think so. I can't afford to trust anybody right now. Please, just leave me alone.
I'll be going now.
Good. I don't much like strangers in my home. You again? Why do you keep bothering me?
I want to ask you some questions.
I can't help you there. Since this thing with Holdan, I've been scared to leave my apartment. I don't know anything about what's going on in the outside world anymore.
I can help.
Well, I suppose you seem like an all-right sort. When I cut Holdan, it made him back off, but it also embarrassed him in front of his friends. Holdan's a spiteful little hut slug. He went and put out a bounty on my head for what I did. That's why I'm hiding out here.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I doubt it. Holdan is one of Davik's men. When you work for the local crime lord, the authorities tend to turn a blind eye. I'm afraid this is between me and Holdan now.
Maybe I could speak to Holdan for you.
You could try, I guess. He usually hangs out at the cantina in the lower city. It probably won't do any good. Holdan's used to getting his own way. That's one of the fringe benefits of being a goon for Davik. Working for the local crime lord lets you get away with things. Still, I appreciate the offer.
I'll be going now.
Goodbye and good luck. I hope you can talk some sense into Holdan.
Well, I don't see many of your kind around here. Most of the residents in this run-down old apartment are illegal Helen. My name is Larrim, by the way. Pleased to meet you, Larrim. My name is Jack Nave. I know this is none of my business, but you look like someone who might need to purchase one of those new energy shields. They're the latest thing, you know, very high-tech. What's so great about these energy shields? When you use one, it surrounds you with a radiant aura particle mesh that absorbs blaster bolts. Pretty handy in a fight. The shield even protects against lightsabers. Or so I hear. The shields aren't perfect, of course. They can only absorb so much energy before they burn out. An ion blaster will take your basic dueling shield down pretty quick.
And I can tell you from experience that they aren't any good at all against a simple vibroblade. That's why the Republic has been training soldiers in hand-to-hand and melee combat.
Where did this technology come from? I've heard rumors of the Akani using shields like this, but I never saw anything like them around here. Not until the Sith came, where they discovered the technology is anybody's guess. It gave the Sith a huge edge in the early battles, but it wasn't long before the Republic was able to copy the technology and come up with an energy shield of their own. Now both sides are scrambling to come up with new weapons to slice right through the shields, but until they do, you're going to see melee combat coming back to the forefront in this war. Anything else? Not much to say really, except that I managed to get my hand on one of those shields. It isn't cheap, but it could make the difference between life and death. You want to see what I have in stock? I know my kiosk is not much to look at, but my prices are reasonable and the merchandise is sound. Why do you have a kiosk set up here? I run a little shop here in this old building, selling basic equipment to the illegal alien renting out the apartments. You mentioned something about illegal aliens living here. By law, most aliens aren't allowed to have residence in the upper city of Taris. There are a few of us Twi'leks up here, but for the most part it's human only. But no self-respecting upper city human would want to live in the apartments in this dump. So the landlord has been renting out this apartment illegally to aliens. Better than letting them sit empty, I guess. Otherwise you get squatters and people hiding out from the authorities living in the abandoned apartments. And they don't pay rent. Aren't you worried about getting caught? The Taris authorities pretty much turned a blind eye to this place. A few illegal aliens just weren't worth the bother, and once the thieves took over, they felt the same way. Besides, I don't live here myself. I just run a small business providing supplies to the residents. I want to ask you some questions. Questions? I'd rather not. It might be bad for a business if people saw me answering a bunch of questions for a human. Most of the residents here are illegal aliens. Questions are frowned on. I don't want to lose the trust of my customers. If you really need information, go talk to Kadir the janitor. He's bordering on senile, so all the residents figured he's harmless. They won't mind you talking to him, and he might be able to help you out with your questions. Okay, let me see what you got for sale. No problem, just step on up and have a peek.
On it. It's open.
Pudu, Tunirama na praka donko searcha, chupapanki.
On it. It's open. On it. It's open.
Hey there, watch where you're walking. I just cleaned those floors.
Who are you?
My name's Kadir. I'm the janitor for this building. You must be the new tenant here, right? Never thought they'd rent that abandoned apartment. You look like an off-worlder. What happened, you get stuck here because of the quarantine? Can't see any other reason someone would want to rent that old apartment.
I want to ask you some questions.
Don't know how much I can tell you, but seeing as how you're new here, I guess I could try and help you out.
Tell me about Taris.
Decent enough place to live, I guess, except for the lower levels. That's where the swoop gangs hang out. Just stay in Upper City and you'll be fine. You also might want to check out the cantina. I used to go there when I was younger. Good place to get a drink and find out what's going on in the Upper City.
Where is the cantina?
Just keep following the apartment complex ring until you come to the elevator. It'll take you out to the upper streets there. And from there, just head south a ways. You can't miss it.
And where can I get some equipment?
Well, The best place to go is probably Kebla Yurt's store. She's right across from the cantina, so you can stop in for a drink if you get thirsty while you're shopping. Just keep following the apartment complex ring until you come to the elevator. It'll take you out to the upper streets there. And from there, just head south a ways. You can't miss it.
What do you think of the state and this quarantine?
Not much of an issue for me, you know. I ain't never left Taris, and they ain't never gonna. A lot of other folks are sure riled up about it, but I don't really know much about it. I prefer to keep to myself mostly. But there's plenty of people at the cantina who'll be more than happy to tell you what they think about the Sith and their quarantine.
I'll be going now.
I should get back to work anyway. I'll probably see you around. I'm here most of the time. A building doesn't clean itself, you know.
Yes, what's on your mind?
Is this a good time to ask you some more questions?
I guess I did say you could ask me questions later, didn't I? Is this really necessary?
I just would like to know you better.
Oh, well, if it's an interrogation you wanted, why don't you say so?
This isn't an interrogation. I never say that.
No, I was just joking. Though you do seem to be full of questions. It's rather refreshing, to be honest. Let me ask you something first, though. I've been going through the battle aboard the Endar Spire over and over in my head since we crashed. Some things just don't add up for me. Maybe you could tell me what happened, from your perspective.
Like you said when we first met, Bastilla didn't have time to use her powers.
True. Bastilla is as powerful as I say. She's the one who defeated Darth Revan, after all. I guess that no Jedi ability, no matter how powerful, makes up for being completely surprised and outmatched. We didn't choose that battle anyway. It got forced on us. Hell, I'm just as surprised that any of us are alive to talk about it. Come to think of it, it's more than a little surprising that you happen to be here, isn't it? I mean, just what is your position with the Republic fleet anyway?
I'm a scout. I was recruited into the fleet for my skills, if you must know.
Well, that makes sense. Still, it seems a bit strange that someone who is a last-minute addition to the crew roster is one of the survivors.
You'd rather I wasn't?
Don't be ridiculous. You've more than proved yourself since the crash. We wouldn't have made it this far without you, but still.
Are you implying that I had something to do with the crash?
No. Well, maybe. Don't get me wrong, it just seems odd that someone Bastilla's party specifically requested to transfer aboard happens to survive.
Why would Bastilla request my transfer?
The Jedi requested numerous things when they came on board, but hell, they practically took over the ship as far as I could tell. Considering your connection to Bastilla and the Jedi, whether you know it or not, your presence here seems a little convenient. I'm probably wrong, and this is probably nothing, I know. I learned a long time ago not to take things at face value, however, and I hate surprises.
I'm telling you, Carth, I had nothing to do with the crash.
I expect you're right. I've got no real reason to suspect you of anything. Still, it's better to be safe than sorry, right?
Are you always this suspicious?
Look, it has nothing to do with you personally. I don't trust anyone. I have my reasons. And no, I'm not going to discuss them, so can we just keep our mind on more important things?
I consider this important.
All right. You're pretty damn tenacious. You know that? We'll talk about it, but later. Right now, I just want to get going.
Hello there. I haven't seen you in my shop before. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kebla Yurt. Welcome to the Equipment Emporium. You looking to buy some supplies? My shop's the largest one in all of Upper Taris. Best selection on the planet. Whatever you need, I've got. Well, mostly.
Mostly? What do you mean by that?
The Sith confiscated all my heavy weapons, and they impounded all my ships and swoop bikes. But I've still got a real nice selection, if you're interested.
I want to ask you some questions.
Anything I can do to help a potential customer out. What do you want to know?
Do you know anything about the escape pod that crashed here on Taris?
I heard a couple of pods crash down in the Undercity. I bet the crash sites have already been stripped clean by the Sith, though. Unless the swoop gangs or Davik's men got there first.
Swoop gangs? What can you tell me about them?
I don't have anything good to say about those swoop gangs. Zooming around on their swoop bikes, terrorizing the lower city like a bunch of animals. Things weren't so bad when the hidden Vex were running the show. But ever since the rise of the Black Vulture gang, the lower city has been nothing short of a war zone. The Sith haven't even bothered trying to maintain order down there. And I heard a rumor that Davik's own people are having problems with the Black Vultures now.
What do you know about Davik?
Oh, Davik's a legitimate businessman, if you get my drift. Smuggling, slaving, extortion. They say he's a member of the Exchange, you know, the big intergalactic criminal organization.
Well, I've heard of the Exchange. Bad organization to cross. But if anyone has blockade-breaking ships, however, it's them.
I have to pay him a protection fee every month, but it's reasonable. And I get most of my inventory through Davik and his suppliers. I'm just smart enough not to ask where it came from, you understand?
Is Davik working with the Sith?
Davik hates the Sith as much as anybody. The quarantine has put a real dent in his operations, too. But he's keeping a low profile as long as the occupation lasts. Davik stays out of the way, and the Sith don't bother him. The swoop gangs could learn a thing or two from this tidy little arrangement, instead of always going after each other.
I was wondering, how do you feel about the Sith?
It's not smart to say bad things about the people in power, if you get my meaning. I just wish the Sith would ease up on the quarantine, though. They're killing my business. I can't say I like having them here in Upper City, but it could be worse, and we're still a lot better off than the Lower City, what with those swoop gangs and all.
I need some general information on Taris.
Oh, you're one of those off-worlders, aren't you? Come to Taris for a short business trip and end up stuck here because of the Sith quarantine, right? Oh, you can't be too happy. Trapped on an unfamiliar world and all. But Taris isn't so bad, as long as you stay in the Upper City. Just try to avoid the Sith. And stay out of the Lower City. The swoop gangs are totally out of control. Even Davik's men are having trouble down there.
I'll be going now.
Good day to you then. Remember to come back to my shop if you ever need any supplies.